Welcome to DrupalEasy Show Tell, where I attempt to use or do something in Drupal that I've never used or done before. Now, demoing things like this is something I've been doing for years during DrupalEasy office hours. DrupalEasy Show and Tell is a little bit different. I've got some expert help. Each episode, I'll have a guest that just so happens to be a subject matter expert for whatever it is that I'll be playing with. Now, before we begin, I want to make sure you know about our live online classes. We have regularly occurring sessions of our 2-week professional single directory components class, as well as our 15-week professional module development class, and our 12-week Drupal Career Online beginner focused course. For specific dates and pricing, you know what to do. Head on over to DrupalEasy.com. Alrighty, hello. I am here with Nic Laflin. Nic, how are you?
Good. Happy to be here.
And today, Nic is going to help me basically take this issue from the Markdown Easy contrib module and convert some regular old legacy style Drupal hooks into object-oriented hooks. Nic, you have some experience with this, correct?
I do. I never thought I'd be the most enthusiastic person in the Drupal ecosystem, but here we are.
Yeah. So Nic, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I think most people know you from talking Drupal, but what's your day job?
Yeah, so it does feel a little weird to be on the other side of the microphone, I guess. But
Yeah. Oh, I'm
um
asking the questions.
uh I work for myself. I'm a freelancer. I've been doing it for 17 years now. So quite some time. And as you mentioned, I'm one of the co-hosts of Talking Drupal along with John Picozzi and uh, Stephen Cross behind the scenes.
All right, very good. What type of work do you typically do? Are you more, I mean, I know the answer, so it's a very leading question, but back end, front end,
I
commerce, project manager, like
yeah,
what's your
I
thing?
I am very much a back-end developer. I can do front end and I can do what I call the back end of front end, if that makes sense. So like I do a lot of web components,
Yeah,
where you're treating JavaScript more as a functional thing rather than kind of the front end flashy piece. I kind of provide two main services for my clients. One is high level architecture and development. So I have several clients where they're a design agency and they either don't have any development on staff, developers on staff, or they have more junior developers on staff. And I'll provide kind of consulting and architecture and in boots on the ground development for them. And several of them have been ongoing long term uh, relationships. The other thing that I do is it's almost augmentation. So, they're an internal team or they're a development firm and they just need some more resources. And because I have a lot of experience as a freelancer with a lot of different projects, I can spin up a lot faster than a typical hire, right? So,
right.
a lot of times an agency will get a new project and they need to hire 2 or 3 developers, but they need to get started before, a good developer, even a good developer generally will take a couple months to get productive. So they'll sometimes hire me to get started so that they can be productive in a week or two, and then help them onboard their team. And once their team is onboarded, sometimes I'll help through the project. Sometimes I'll step back at that point.
Perfect. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do today. So we are going to use Rector, which is a tool that basically rules and can be written for it that perform actions on your code base.
Yep.
Very useful for as it says here, automating code upgrades. Um, I'm also going to be using ddev, and I'm mentioning that because we're not going to be using Rector. We're not going to kind of install Rector, then use it manually, so to speak. We're going to utilize this script, and I'll put the link here on the screen a little bit larger. But this is a script that does use Rector and ddev. It actually becomes a ddev command.
Yep.
And as usual, I haven't installed this yet. I haven't used it yet. All I've done so far is I've got a local Drupal 11 site up and running. I've created an issue fork for this issue on Markdown Easy, and I have that issue fork, that branch checked out. And we have just two hook implementations in the Markdown Easy module. And spoiler alert, as soon as Nick saw both of these, he already threw a couple of warnings at me. So Nick, why don't you repeat those as far as, because these are both hook form ID alter hooks. So I know you mentioned something about that as well as the fact that we have some
Yeah.
callbacks in here.
Yeah, so there's two separate issues. One is with the script itself. Somebody reported about a week ago that it didn't quite work with hook form ID alters. Something on the branch that you'll be checking out through the script just doesn't work. We can also just remove that and test if it doesn't work, because that is just updating for some other hooks that we discovered that could only be procedural. So it's not particularly crucial. The other piece is callbacks and forms right now uh, can't be generic. There's an issue in core that I'll also share with you called callable use callable resolver for form callbacks, which means that a form callback can now just be any service or anything that can be resolved by callable resolver. So right now you either need to put a function there like you have right now, or you kind of have to pass the full object, this in brackets. The problem with passing this is you're passing kind of the whole
Right.
current state of the form, which is a lot of memory and a lot of stuff, and it's problematic.
Right.
But this will allow you to pass kind of the static class in the method. Once it gets in, it's pretty close. I think it just needs a couple of edits on the change record, and then it should be ready.
Okay.
So we can look at how, if we have time, we can look at how both of those look. But as a fallback, you can just use the function.
All right, yeah, so let's see how far we can get. We're gonna spend about 30 minutes here trying this out. So is it safe to say, even before I start, if you're dealing that what we're doing is probably I don't know if complex is the right word, but maybe a little more error prone than, if someone was just implementing hooks that aren't of the form, hook form ID alter. In your
It
experience, like
Yeah,
does it go mostly smooth with non?
I would say in general,
Yeah.
this is rock solid. Actually, I've
Oh,
only had to update it twice.
okay.
Um, and I think I just introduced something in the last couple of months that broke something. I just haven't tested it. But this is the script modified for contrib that I used to convert all of core.
Right. Yeah, we should have
Um,
mentioned that was your work. Thank you for
yep.
that. But that got
Uh,
in 11.2, 11.1. I didn't even know.
11.1. Yeah, we get
11.1.
that in
Okay.
11.1. So we were able to convert pretty much every hook that was supported when we released the support for object-oriented hooks in the first place. And then I used it again to convert pre-processed hooks once we added support for that in 11.2. And then I've also used this with web form, which I don't know if you know, it's a very complex module with a lot of hook implementations.
Yeah, it's got a couple hooks.
Um,
Yeah.
a couple hundred. um, so yeah, this is pretty good. There are a couple of caveats. It doesn't do dependency injection for you,
Right.
and it does not convert things like T to this T, right? It doesn't use the string translation trait.
Okay.
Um, it does a pretty good job. It also doesn't do things like if the line length is now over 80, general code sniff stuff like that, that code sniff can't fix automatically. Obviously, it won't be fixed. But in general, as far as like creating the right class and copying stuff over, it's 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 excellent.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to trying this out. So just real quick, as far as the Markdown Easy module, we have two hooks. Um, and actually they're very similar here because the second one just calls the first because one's
Yeah.
just an add and the other one's just the edit. And then there are two callbacks as we saw right here and right here. So over in the structure window, you can see our two hooks and our two callbacks.
Yep.
So I'm going to
And,
get
and
rid
I,
of that. Oh, go ahead.
I will say too, there's two things about that too. One is if I was converting a module, like when I converted a personal project and each module only had one or two, I didn't go through the effort of setting up Rector and all this. Even though I've made it as simple as possible,
Yeah.
I usually just do it manually.
Right.
I'm curious to see if it works here. The second thing, the nice thing is you can now mark a method with more than one hook. So you don't need to do this where the second hook is just calling the first hook.
Yeah,
You
I'll
can
be
just
able to
decorate.
simplify this. Yeah.
Yep, you'll be able to simplify. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, the backward compatibility will still need two, but eventually we'll be able
Yes.
to drop that and only have one. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All right, super. Well, here, let's get going. So this script will create a custom DDEV command. So I basically need to create a new file of this name, and I'm going to create it in my .ddev commands web directory. So I'm going to go to .ddev. What was I already forgot? Commands.
Commands.
The memory of a gnat sometimes. New file with that name, and then I'm going to copy. I just do I should have just downloaded it.
The first icon is a copy button.
Well, that just kind of, okay. See?
Yep,
Yeah.
copies file content.
Look, you're already saving me time, Nick. Fantastic. All right. So we save that. I'll probably do I have to do a DDEV restart, you
Nope,
think?
it's immediately
No?
available.
There's that. And yeah, so that's it. So I don't even know if we want to go through this. I looked at it a little bit. Um, but enter directory to convert. So I assume I'm just going to point to my Markdown easy directory there.
Mhm.
Pull in the composer requirements. Yes, we're going to do that. And this is where Rector. Um,
So that updates to a particular, so that this is good for a few reasons because
yeah,
it teaches you how to pull in, if you're using Composer, how you can pull in a particular branch of something if you need to. So that pulls in, because we're using Drupal Rector, which is on top of the actual Rector project.
right.
And the Rector OOP hooks branch is one that I'm maintaining right now. So this is
Ah,
pulling the
okay.
latest from that. And that's how you swap that out.
Okay. And I did see that this will run PHPCS for you if you want. I
Yep.
saw that somewhere. Rector's not been. Yeah, would you like to run PHP? CBF. Okay,
Yep.
automatic. CBF, not CBF.
Yeah, I tried to make it so that it will ask you each step. So that way if you need to
Right,
stop it at some point and do something and then run it again,
right.
you don't have to run through the whole, 'cause especially for core, it took 25 minutes to run
Oh yeah, you
the
probably.
Rector piece.
All right. Well, that's all the setup there is, right? And then
Yep.
is convert module OOP is the command.
Yep.
So um DDEV convert module OOP, and let's see what happens. A directory to convert. So I'm going to do now. This is actually a good question. So I actually put modules that I need cloned in a
Hmm.
project level modules directory. That way I can compose or require them.
Yep.
And then it symlinks them into the right place. So in this case, does it matter if I do modules slash Markdown easy, or should I do web slash modules slash contrib?
I think you do web slash
Okay.
module slash contrib because it's a similar setup to how I did it for web form. I mean, I use the Joachim's. I'll look up the name of it, but he has a like an automatic symlinker and switcher,
Okay.
and it makes it's a similar setup. So that's how I did it for web form.
All right. So that's cool. So we'll do that. So there's the symlink version of Markdown easy. I'll close that up and let's see what happens. Yes, obviously, right?
Yep. Oh,
So,
there are no patches anymore, I don't think, but
oh, there we go.
I didn't clean up that message.
So theoretically, this should just do it, and then we'll take a look
Yep.
at it and possibly, start making some tweaks and see if we can't get our test to
Fingers
pass.
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So I just posted a link in the chat to his. It's called Drupal Project Contrib Development, and
Okay.
there's another question for you there.
Okay. Well, I think yes, that's why we're here. We want to run Rector. Heck
Yep.
yeah.
And so Rector will look through whatever project you pointed it to. Looks like it made one change.
So here, let's look at, there's our legacy hook stuff.
Oh, you have
I have a hook in it.
submodules.
Yeah, I have a hook in
Yep.
a test. That's
That's the
true.
other reason why this is nice. It catches,
Yeah.
it's recursive.
But I don't see where
Yeah, so that tells me that
it doesn't support.
it's not work. Okay. Let's try one thing.
Well, here, let me finish this real quick.
Yeah, you can do that. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Whoa.
yeah, so let's
Yeah,
it
so
did fix a bunch of them. So
yeah, okay.
um you can say yes here too if you want.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that unused.
Okay, so
All
do me
right.
a favor, open that command again
Open the command. Okay. Let me make some room.
and comment out line 24.
This one right here.
Yep. And then
Oh,
line
yeah,
25
comment here is where am I?
hash.
JavaScript. Okay. Got it.
And then line 25, erase everything after the colon, including the colon.
Well, here, just because I'm gonna do it this way.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
That's weird. All right, so I'm gonna comment that one out as well, and then you want me to get rid of
Yeah, delete that. And then do me one more favor. And then what you'll want to do is you'll want to run git
composer remove.
status in the root. And so you'll want to check all this, like reset this.
Okay.
Um, so you should be able to just do.
Start test.
And then you'll probably have to run git clean tests as well. Git clean dash fd tests. And so I just undid what we did and run git status just to double
Yep.
check. And then go up one level because you have to be in the Drupal 11.
So in the project root, right?
It doesn't, you just have to be in the Git. Yeah, if you just go up one level so that you're in the Drupal Git space rather than the module. Yep. And then if you run git status.
Well, I don't have the project itself is not in the repository. It's not.
No, yeah, that's fine. But the script updates the Drupal site composer
Okay.
JSON.
All right. So yeah, I
So
gotta get
yeah,
here. I gotta get to
yeah.
deal
So
with them.
yep. So if you run git status.
I don't think I'm gonna, yeah, there's no repository here.
Oh, okay. So then, oh, that's interesting. So how do you, okay, I think what you need to do is just open the composer JSON
Okay.
for Drupal, which
You
is
want me to
right
do a
there.
composer remove on it on something?
I don't know if that will work. So you can delete, so if you scroll up a little bit, see where it says line 12 through
All that?
15. Yeah, delete
Get rid
that.
of that?
Yep. And then you should be able to run, and then you might need to look for, do you see Drupal rect Palantir? Yeah, the last one. You might want to
So
run, you might want to delete that too.
so what do we do? Like what's the so I
We're,
know
we're,
yeah,
we're trying
explain
to
why we're
reset.
doing all this.
Yeah, so we're trying to reset because it and not use the branch that I did that initial work, that recent work on, and see if
Okay.
that fixes the form alter
Okay.
thing, because that will tell me if I broke it or if something else broke it upstream.
Okay. All right. I got it. Okay.
And then you should be able to run the script again. Although this is and if this doesn't work, then I would just go to manual conversion. It's not worth
Well,
debugging
I
the
mean, at the
flag.
very least, we can look at the test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to do the manual here today, but we could
Yeah.
just redo it and take a look at what it did with the test and look at that. I think that's a use that'll be worthwhile still. So
Sounds good.
we'll try it again. So it's gonna be web modules. What am I doing? Contrib and then markdown easy. Yes.
Yes.
Here again.
What extension do you have, by the way, that tells you the exact version next to the requirement in Composer JSON? That's pretty nice.
This right here?
Yeah.
Um, I think that doesn't PH. I don't know if I have a special extension in PHP Storm.
Oh, you have PHP Storm. I use VS Code.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's
use
right.
both because I
Oh,
teach
okay.
with both. So I honestly, it's almost random which one I decide to open each day. Some projects I always use one or the other, but um for this stuff, I just felt like using PHP Storm today.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Yeah. There is an extension for VS Code that does something similar, though I've seen. I couldn't tell you what it was.
Okay,
Um,
it looks like it only ran on the test run again. So it
yeah.
looks like I didn't break something.
Well, all right. Well,
To
that's
know.
congrats on that. Remove unused. All right. Well, let's
Yeah.
regardless. I mean,
Yeah.
let me run tests and see if all of our tests still pass just for the heck of it.
Yep, we can do that.
So I'm gonna do. I always do this from inside. Clear that out. Clear. Oh, it's not clear. All right. Well, PHP unit, modules, Markdown, easy, tests, and we'll just run them all. So there are a bunch of deprecations, the PHP unit 12 and
Yeah.
annotation deprecation messages that are going to fly by.
Yep.
Anyone who does run tests locally on a Drupal 11 site have probably seen these. It's actually another open issue for us is to convert those.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been thinking about for my own contrib. So like core, you can't
Uh,
deprecate something until there's no usages, right? But for
right.
contrib, chasing deprecations is just a never ending.
Yeah.
So like I think you should really turn off deprecation checking until you're ready to look at the next version, right? Because that's the point of a deprecation. It's telling you
Yeah.
you need to change this before you update to the next version. But until you're ready to update to the next version, you don't need to know about it whatsoever.
I'm afraid, like, I don't mind seeing them. I'm afraid to turn them off because I fear that I'll forget that they're off.
That's
Like I won't remember
valid.
to check to like, every now and then, do I need to unhide some of these? So I
Yeah,
leave them and it kind of just reminds me that hey, there's something in the future. So anyway, test pass.
very
So
good.
so that was good. So let's take a look at exit. No, not ddev, get status. So oh
By the
sorry.
way, really quick, that PHP unit command that you did by going in, if you create a script in the web commands folder
Yeah.
that we did, you can put that exact PHP unit
Yep.
command you did, and it will run the same thing. You can just run ddev, whatever you call the command unit.
Right. So here's why I don't do it. And I don't do it because I teach so much. And I don't want my students to see me using shortcuts
Fair enough.
unless I teach them the shortcuts. And I'm very
Fair enough.
methodical in that. Like, I want to teach folks, like, here's how you actually do it. And then
Yeah,
maybe later on in the course, if someone asks a question, I'm like, okay, here, yeah, we can make that a little bit easier by doing this and that. But
fair enough.
yeah, I'm very methodical. That's why, like, even when I use Git, I'm like, Git fetch origin, Git rebase origin main, Git push origin main. Like I'm very methodical in everything that I type.
Yeah,
It's just a habit from teaching so much.
makes
No
sense.
shortcuts. That's the rule. No shortcuts, no hacks.
Makes sense.
Yep. All right, so here we go. So let me close out some of these. Let me make this a little bit smaller since it didn't touch our main module. So these will have
No,
to be done
manually.
manually. You have a suggestion for resource, perhaps something you wrote in the past for converting?
Uh, I mean, honestly, I would look at core examples.
Yeah.
I personally work best by looking at the actual code. But the high level is in, and we'll look at this with the test module, but the high level is create the class in the hook namespace. So source hook. And so if you go to the tests
Yeah.
modules,
I'm going here. I forget which one. Let's see.
the first
Any
one,
view of test. There we
okay,
go.
and then you open
There we go.
source. So it's in the hook namespace. So you create this class.
Yep.
Then you just create a method in it. You add an attribute to that method, the hook attribute,
Right there.
identifying which hook you're implementing.
Right.
And then if you're in contrib and you're doing backwards compatibility, then you need to modify the legacy hook and add the legacy hook attribute to tell this tells newer versions of Drupal not to execute this version.
Right.
And then you have in contrib, you have to have a services file entry. So if you the next file down
Yep.
for the hook for each hook class that you have, right? And so this is what allows older versions of Drupal to execute this. Now, this only supports 10.1 plus, right? So if you would use legacy hook and use this service, you need to you should drop support for below 10.1.
Right. And tell us a little bit about autowire.
AutoWire. So if you do dependency injection and add, a couple of other services as a dependency, say entity type manager is a common one, right? Normally you'd have to have an arguments line here, and then you'd have to do that, add entity underscore type dot manager. Well, AutoWire for most services can just it already knows what entity type manager is and can find it for you, and so it prevents you having to type out or change it every time you add something. Now, there's some caveats there that I won't get into, but basically it has to be a known interfacer class. Drupal core is slowly moving every single service to have at least an alias, so it's easy, but sometimes they're not available.
So why? Okay, so now devil's advocate, why wouldn't I use autowire for every service I write?
I would.
Right.
It's just that core can't enable it by default for everything because all the old. So if you open the core.services.yml,
Yeah.
really quickly, I can show you the kind of thing that I mean.
I fear a rabbit hole, but I know where we're going. So,
So it should be right there.
Yeah.
Yep. And so if you just scroll a little bit further down. Like maybe like halfway down because we want to find the top is like all the weird ones. Okay, so right here, perfect example. So you see line 831, we have menu active trail.
Yep.
And whenever you injected that service, you use at menu.active underscore trail, right?
Right.
Well, AutoWire can't find that. It doesn't know what that is. But if you see line 837 right below, we have an alias for menu active trail interface is that service. And so when you're creating a constructor that you want to use AutoWire on, you just type hint it with menu active trail interface, and now the AutoWire system knows that it's this one. If you have a service that like a core service that doesn't have that alias, you can open an issue to add it. But before it gets added, there's an AutoWire attribute that you can add before the argument in your constructor, and that will tell the system, hey, when I say this, this is what I mean. And there's some services, this is really getting deep in the weeds. There's some services you have to use that for, like certain cache bins, for example. Like if you say I'm using the cache interface, it doesn't know which cache you're talking about, so you have to tell it which one. Or logger, right? You need to tell it which logging system you're going to use.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I would use that for everything.
All right, I'm gonna pull this out of the weeds.
Yep.
There we go. I'm pulling this out of the weeds. Okay, so we're just gonna I think all we need is these three files. So let's just take a look. I'm gonna close this since we didn't do those. So here is the original hook implementation. And the fact that this is a test module doesn't really matter. It's still a regular, this is hook. It's a hook that Markdown Easy exposes called config modify. This is an implementation of it. It gets passed to the config array. Yeah, we're just basically calling this method and passing that. So this is what is used typically, old school, we'll call it, right?
Yep.
And then moving this, if we were to do this manually, we've kind of already been through this, so this might be a little bit repetitive, but I think it's a good exercise anyway. To turn this into an object-oriented hook, you've got to mark it with this attribute, legacy hook, and that's a PHP attribute. So we're going to have a use.
Oh, it didn't remove that unused line 13 you can delete.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah.
The code sniffing rule isn't the best at removing.
Okay. Well, it was
Was,
pretty, oh, sorry, it's pretty obvious that, PHP Storm helped
yep,
us out there, turned it gray.
yep,
So
yep,
we don't need that. So yeah, so some code was, oops, hold on, some code was removed.
yep,
So if we do and well, here, basically the code that was removed, this is basically calling our hook class.
yep,
So the code that was removed here, let me just make sure this is Markdown easy config modify, Markdown easy. So this is these two lines of code were in here.
yep,
And what has changed was those two lines of code were moved to the hook, and the hook is now called from here.
yep,
All right. And then,
exactly.
yep. And then very similarly, here's our other hook implementation. This one was config modify. Here's an environment modify, different variable, but exact same thing. Add the attribute to let older versions of Drupal know, or well, 10.1
Yeah,
and higher versions know that um, it's a legacy hook, and then again call the method in the
yeah.
new hook class. Now, so for versions of Drupal 11.1 and greater, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is never called anymore, right?
It is, in fact, it goes a step further. It's not even registered as a hook. Like it's
Ah,
dropped from the container. Like it, as soon as it sees that attribute, it says, I can ignore this when it's collecting hooks.
right, because the full hook implementation is here. And
Yep.
so this attribute, this hook attribute, again, there's a use statement associated with it right
Mm-hmm.
there, is basically what registers this method on this class as a hook,
Yep.
as this
Exactly.
particular hook, right? Okay.
Yep.
And again, it has the
And it and
same,
it does some other things too behind the scenes. Like it assigns this hook to the module it's in. So if you look at, if you open the hook class, you don't have to if you don't want to, but
right?
you'll see like it stores the class on it, the method on it, the module, and the hook that's being identified for. So because it's for
Oh,
this module, you don't have to pass that in. It just automatically detects it.
got it. Got it. Um, yeah, and other than this, basically the services that
Yep.
points to the that gives namespace, points to the class, and auto wires it.
Yep.
All right, so let me ask you a question. So let me go back to this one. So for folks who are writing modules for Drupal 11.1 or better sites that don't, maybe custom module, don't have to worry about backward compatibility. Number one, there's no reason for any of this.
Correct.
You don't have to do any of that. Um, does Drush generate? And I don't know the answer. Well, I think I do know the answer to this. If you do if you use Drush generate to generate a hook implementation, does it do object-oriented hooks yet?
No. And
Not yet. Yeah.
actually, so um Drush Generate uses Kai's Drupal code generator project,
Right.
which Chex recently became a maintainer of. And don't go knocking on his door for this, but I chatted with him about this last week actually and asked him if it supported object-oriented hooks yet. And he said that he's planning on working on that in the next few weeks or so.
Okay.
I do know that the module builder module, which I don't have a lot of experience with, does do object-oriented hooks.
Right.
I haven't used it. I haven't, other than like installing it just to be like, oh, look at that, it does. But suppose if you want to use some sort of builder, I think that's the best way to do it right now.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's just talk through. I don't think we have the time to do it. But let's just talk through if we did want to, let me just either to keep a neat explorer here.
I bet you we could. If you just copy and paste that, the if you copy
You're
and
tempting me
if
now. Okay. All
if you
right.
copy and paste that hook directory into the source directory,
All right.
I think we can do it.
I think
So
I
I
just,
would,
yeah,
well, I
let me,
would grab
yeah,
the hook
just that one.
directory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to copy that,
And then paste it there.
paste it there.
That should be
Yep.
fine.
That should be fine. Don't worry about that yet.
And
Uh,
then you'll want to rename this.
yep. Rename
Uh,
this Markdown Easy. It is just hooks, I think, right?
yep.
That's
I'll
probably
get rid of those
safe.
two. Yep.
Rename class is fine. Okay, let's get in
Just make sure
there.
you didn't actually. I don't know if that. Oh no, it didn't. Okay.
All right, so change the namespace.
Yep.
Markdown easy hook.
And then line 10, if you want to be.
Markdown easy. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do that. Markdown easy
And
hooks. Okay, so we'll have to change these two things in a
yep.
moment. All
And
right.
then I would open
Whoops.
the module file,
File. What? I just hit save. Hold on. What happened?
memory, and
Okay.
disk.
All right. I want to get the service file first.
Ah, do you have a services file yet on the
Yeah, I
main?
do. So where am I? There it
Yep, that one
is.
right
This I
there.
meant this bit is what I want.
Yep.
Okay. Markdown easy services. Then markdown. Okay, so this is going to be
And then you need to get rid of that. And then
markdown easy
copy that same. You don't actually need that class
because it's the
line.
same.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave it just because
Yeah. Yeah, we can, but it's not
it's not
necessary.
gonna hurt.
It does not hurt. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can open the dot module file.
Yep. Hold on. Let me just go over here. That's because I'm lazy. Copy that. Okay. So I'm over. Okay. Close up my test. I think I'm done there. Go to the dot module file. Let me mark this as legacy hook. Mark this as a legacy hook. I want to get my use statement there. Oh,
Yep,
this
you'll need both
changed.
of those.
That changed somehow.
Yeah, I think it refactored wrong, so that needs to be test hooks,
Yeah.
capital T.
Uh,
Test hook, rather. That's the right one.
I think it's more than that.
Nope. You can see it's auto completing there. So if you click on that, it should register. It should update. Yep.
Now it's all messed. Now it's all jacked up. Okay.
Oh, you know what it did? It updated. So yeah, open the test module, markdown source hooks. It updated the class name here too when you auto. I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I need
No, it didn't.
hook test hooks. Hook test.
Markdown easy hook test hooks.
Markdown. Yeah. What's going on here?
Ah, that is okay. Markdown easy hook test hooks. Now you need to update the because it refactored this one too. So if you copy line 11, the class name at the end, just the class name, and then replace line 19.
Oh, right there. Okay. Got it.
And then down below, and then make sure the services didn't update. I don't think it did.
Services. No.
Yep. And then just open the that module for the test and make sure that that didn't update either. Okay, we should be good now. Why is it still
All right.
on the
Let me
left?
get back. Hey, let's get organized again here real quick. Okay. So the main module, we've added the service, and
Yep.
that's the right name. All right.
Yep.
So we'll just eyeball that, get rid of tests, get out of tests. So Markdown easy SRC hook, markdown easy hooks, markdown easy hook, markdown easy hooks. That's the same. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to close this one out. Markdown easy module. Basically, all I've done so far is added the attribute. And if we come up here, we need to basically use hook. And there we go.
No, this
Oh
one
no,
needs
that's the
legacy
wrong
as well.
one. Legacy.
It's
Yep.
legacy. Nope. So it's the same thing, but yeah, the second one.
Yep. Okay. All right. So that's good for that one.
Yep.
Okay. So now what we want to basically do is we want to just grab.
So the way I do it is
Yeah,
I
go.
copy. So if you scroll up to the top, I copy start after the module name.
Yep.
So where it says form filter form add form alter, start at the form and copy the entire thing. So let me see if I can
From there.
from
The
before
arguments.
that. Yeah. So I start right here, right after that underscore.
Okay.
So I wouldn't include the underscore, but I would and then copy the whole method. Yep. all the way down, including this.
Yep. All right. Got it.
And now I
And so
need
I'm going to go to my hooks and hold on. Which one is this? No, this is right. Okay. Because this is what I
Yep.
just copied this before.
And then
Let's start
replace
from there,
this
right?
whole thing. Nope. Start from right
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. I see.
Yep.
And then paste. And then
And then what you need to do is you need to copy
I need
everything
to
except
get,
for that first thing,
I need
and
to,
then paste it into the line 17.
and I need
Yep.
to get rid of that underscore.
Yep. And then you can, I usually camel case that,
Yeah, I
but
know.
it literally doesn't matter.
I know, but I can't look at it without camel casing it because it's in a class. So that's the coding standards in me. All right, so that
Um,
basically what that did was, we've got our hook. Um, what is this even called? Is that like the
it's
hook
the hook.
trigger, or what's the?
No, that's the
It's the
hook.
hook, right? I guess
Yep.
it's just the hook. The
Yeah.
unique identifier for the hook. That's the phrase I'm
Yep.
looking for.
Yeah. And then you'll want to update the
The
implements
use
too,
statement. Okay, yeah.
and the use statement for a form state interface. Um, and
And then, so we need.
so the way a trick that I do, that works too. But usually if you just erase a couple characters and start typing it again, it'll find it too. So you don't
Yeah,
have
and
to go
then it'll
back
pop
up.
it
You
up
don't have,
top. Yeah,
yeah, you don't
that's
have to go
true.
back up.
Yep.
And then it'll make sure it's in the right order as well. Okay. And then you would go back to the dot module and
And then do the other one.
grab the service. So yeah, so you can erase that whole everything inside that function.
Yep.
And call Drupal service. You might want to copy it from the test module just so you can see.
Yeah, because it is a
Like,
lot, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it's
yep,
not a lot, but it's all right. So then dot module. Basically, this is the line we're talking about.
yep.
All right. So now we're going to change this to just Markdown easy hooks because that is our hook class. And then our method is that thing right there.
And
And
you
then
just
we
need to pass in
pass
everything
in
that's being.
form, oops,
Yep,
dollar form and dollar form state.
yep. And then you need the use statement.
Yes, use Markdown easy hooks.
Yeah, that's
All
all
right,
there is to
so
it. That
and
should be converted.
we did mention one thing that
Yep.
this should really be injected, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
which
should be.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you have time for that, but we can.
Yeah,
If
what is
I
that? Well, is that
go
a
in
deprecation?
looks like it.
Oh no, it's just okay. I'm not gonna get sidetracked by that. Yeah, I think that's our only one. So um
One really quick
yeah.
thing, the implements should be usually it's prefixed by hook underscore, and usually it would be form ID, not the
Oh,
actual
right. Yeah. Okay. Form,
um,
hook form,
form ID.
form ID. Okay.
And that's just for documentation on Drupal, api.drupal.org. But there is support for OOP hooks now as well. Checks had a contract with the DA to
Ah,
help improve that. So you technically don't need this anymore. But
so is it what's proper with or without the parens? Do you know?
uh, I
I
I
think
don't
it
think it
is with.
matters.
Oh, okay. I think. Well, I'm just. Well, I don't want to again. I don't want to get
Yeah.
sidetracked by what PHPCS may or may not find. Um. Yeah. Well, let's hear. Let's go ahead. Well, yeah. We'll take another 2 minutes. What's the
Okay.
right way
So
to? Good.
yeah. So add a constructor up here.
Is one I can copy from somewhere real. I'm just wondering if I have one I can just copy real quick. I don't have a constructor there. Uh, plugin.
The plugin might have one. Yeah. So I would just copy the. You don't need the comments. Constructors don't need comments.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know if I agree with that, but okay.
well, by rule, and then I would cancel that. I would
Yeah,
just
I don't want
paste
that.
it. I would get rid of final. Personally, I think final should
Well, okay. I mean, that's a whole other conversation about
Yeah.
that PHP standard, but
Okay,
I'll abide.
then you can erase everything in here.
Actually, we don't even need, this is not a plugin, so we don't need any of this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, you can delete the whole, you don't need the parent. You can delete everything inside the constructor. And you can delete everything there too.
Yep. Delete that. And yeah, because there is no, it doesn't extend
Oh,
anything.
you do. Yeah. So yeah, erase the parent. Okay.
Yeah.
In construct. So now the way that I do this is do protected read only. So in
Yeah.
here in the
Oh, okay.
argument.
Oh, you're gonna do yeah, okay.
Yep.
So constructor property promotion, I think is the
Yep. Exactly.
all right, protected read only.
And then you need config factory interface. That one.
Yep.
And now I need to look it up because this is a config factory. So it's, of course, it's different because you have to get the actual. So the way I usually check for this is I search core and then just look in the hooks directory. I mean the hooks files because one of them is going to have it. Okay, so and then you have to assign it to a variable name. I usually assign it to personal preference. I usually assign it to config factory camel case.
Okay.
And then if you go down to where you're adding config down here,
Yep.
you where it's being used, sorry, here. So
Okay,
this
yeah.
becomes this config factory.
Right.
Yep, that's right. Factory. And then do you need to get it or get the editable? Do you need to change it?
If not, no, I'm just reading it, I think.
Okay. So then you need to add another get inside here because you need to get the actual Markdown easy settings.
Easy settings, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let me just grab that whole thing.
I think it's just get, right?
Oh, I missed the get. There we go.
Yeah, it's get.
Yeah.
And then get the actual config that you need. So then you should be able to delete that.
Yeah, I commented out.
Yep.
I got commented out.
And that should be it. That should be injected. And you can obviously clean up the extra line here if you want. That's again personal preference.
Yeah, like that. What you're saying.
Yep.
All right, so I guess let's see. That's in there. What's that? That's our what is this? This is
That was the example constructor that you wanted.
oh right, I don't need this. Okay. There's our module with legacy hook. So actually, let me just take this one off since we did not convert that one. Although, we
Yeah.
take another minute and show me how to point to the same one in a second.
Actually, yeah. So what you can do, yeah, actually, we probably can do that. So there's two ways you can do that.
We just you want me to just copy this? Don't we just do it?
You just that's literally all you do. Copy and paste that, and then grab the correct. I think it's edit, right?
Edit, I believe. We'll double check. Oh, that's test hooks. In the wrong place. Markdown easy module. There we go. Yeah.
And then what you need is the legacy hook.
Yeah, I just removed it and I'm gonna re-add it. Oops, what did I do? Go away, go away.
And then you don't even, because you're just calling like you literally don't even need to change this because it's just going to pass through. So you could update that. You could replace it with this.
Yeah, it would go, basically going to call this, which is going to call this, which is going to call this, or I could copy this line over this line.
Yep. Either way.
So either way, I'll leave it just in the interest.
And you should be done.
All right. So before I run tests again, so the way we have our callback, since it's in the module as a global.
Yep.
So this should work fine.
If we
wanted to, we could just create a private method in this class and move it into this class. Is that correct? And then we do this and then whatever our private method name is?
Yeah, you need to put it in brackets and then do this and then
right,
comma, and then this would be the second argument. Whatever the, yeah. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So
But
we could move. Yeah. I'm not going to do that right now, but we could move
yeah,
this into the hook class as
and exactly. And like I said, I'll give you the core issue that's tracking, making that so that it can just be a
okay.
static call or a service call or something.
All right. Let's run tests here
The moment of truth.
and see if this all works. Uh-oh.
Got a couple
Ruh-roh.
failures.
Failures. Roar. Suddenly it's going to be a really long episode of DrupalEasy Show and Tell. Oh, all kinds of failures.
So I suspect there's something with the dependency injection or something, but that'll be usually when you're doing this, you get an error. Okay, so they're functional failures. Fun. Well, we're well over
Yeah.
what.
So here's what I'm going to do.
You want to push this up? I'm happy to pull it down and take a quick look and
Yeah.
see if something is missing.
Yeah, I'm going to pause the recording, or I'll stop the recording, and then once it's figured out, I'll add a little bit to the end of this recording to update everyone on what the issue was. All right. Well, Nick,
we flew too close to the sun.
we did. That's a very apt analogy or metaphor. I get too confused, but whatever. It's apt. All right. Well, hey, Nick, thank you so much for your help. I will get this pushed up, and then first one to figure it out wins, is all I'm saying.
Perfect. I'll take a look at it later today.
All right. Thanks for your time. And yeah, I'll just stay tuned for a couple seconds. If you're watching the video, you'll see what the solution is. So, all right. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks.
Nick actually figured this out while I was in another meeting. So thanks to Nick. But this was just some cruff that we forgot to delete. So if you recall, a few minutes ago in the recording, we copied this hook class, Markdown Easy Hook Test Hook. We copied it and we brought it up to SRC, the main module SRC hook, and we renamed it to Markdown Easy Hooks. We copy and pasted it here and renamed it. That's what we're looking at here. And the problem is that we did update this first one properly, so that's all good. But we forgot to delete this one. And this is basically a duplicate of the one that's in the test. So, yeah, this was messing things up for us. So if we just delete that. So kudos to Nick for finding that. I'm going to do a DDEV SSH. And we'll just run the test real quick, and that should pass. So that was just some sloppiness. There we go. Tests are passing. Sloppiness on our part. This is the deprecation stuff. We don't have to worry about that because all of our tests are passing. All right. Well, hey, thanks for sticking with us on DrupalEasy Show and Tell. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Don't forget, if you have a need for professional Drupal training, be sure to check us out at DrupalEasy.com.